Junior Achievement is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to inspire and prepare young people to succeed in a global economy. We do so through fun and engaging curriculum in the areas of financial literacy, workforce readiness, and entrepreneurship. One of the key components of JA programming is the partnership between schools and JA volunteers who deliver many of the JA programs. The JA of Middle Tennessee office, based in Nashville, is one of over 100 area offices throughout the country and serves 22 counties across the volunteer state. In addition to JA's K-12 traditional or classroom programs, Junior Achievement offers Capstone Programs. These programs involve classroom curriculum, typically of a longer length, and an experiential learning simulation for students to apply the knowledge they've learned in the classroom. JA of Middle Tennessee offers 3 capstone programs: JA BizTown, JA STEM Summit, and JA Finance Park. Within the JA Finance Park program, there are 3 curriculum options: traditional, project-based learning, and a student self-guided version. This training will cover the student self-guided version. We know educators have a lot on their plates. Our goal is to make teaching the JA Finance Park curriculum as simple as possible. So by the end of this training, you'll understand the purpose of JA Finance Park, how to effectively use the curriculum, understand the teacher responsibilities for a successful student simulation experience, and the basic operation of the simulation. As we begin, please write down any questions you have regarding the information covered in this training. There will be time to address those questions later on during the session. Each component of the program helps you as the teacher to lead your students through the JA Finance Park curriculum to help them gain a better understanding of how to plan for financial success. Once teacher training is completed, student learning begins. Students will log into the JA Connect Learning platform and complete a series of modules, either at their own pace or at the direction of their teacher. The volunteer component to this particular JA program is embedded directly within the self-guided portal, where volunteers have created a series of videos to accompany the different online modules. After the majority of the modules have been completed, students will participate in the JA Finance Park simulation, whether on-site or virtual, followed by one final module in the self-guided portal as part of their debrief to round out the program. We hope that you'll find the JA Finance Park self-guided curriculum to be easy to implement. The asynchronous nature of this version of the curriculum allows for students to encounter consistent content, whether learning remotely or in a traditional class setting. Minimal preparation time is needed, though teachers are encouraged to preview each module and engage with students at the start or end of each module to check for understanding and maintain a pace for all students across their classes. The content is aligned to meet many of the federal and state standards, and standards correlations can be found on the JA website. Finally, the curriculum is fun, interactive, and engaging, and allows the students a chance to move at their own pace or at the pace of the teacher's direction. There is a great deal of flexibility in how the JA Finance Park self-guided curriculum can be delivered. For example, some schools may implement the program during a specific academic subject and have the students complete the modules over the course of 8 or 9 days. Others may have the students complete the modules in every subject in order to complete the modules over the course of only 1 or 2 days. Every school is different. We are more than happy to work with you and your team to strategize the best way to deliver the curriculum at your school. As we get started, we'll highlight some teacher resources provided by your local JA area staff, review the various JA platforms that you may encounter, give you some first steps as you get started on tackling the self-guided curriculum, a closer look at what the particular modules look like within the self-guided portal. We'll talk about how to enroll students and then monitor student progress as they progress through the course. The JA Finance Park Manager will provide you with a couple of key teacher resources specific to our local area, including a teacher checklist that contains live websites, those different hyperlinks in the PDF for various websites that you'll need outside of the JA Connect platform, along with a couple of guides from JA USA, our national office, on how to enroll students, walk through the various parts of the self-guided curriculum. These will be made available at the end of the training. Please keep in mind that as you begin, there are 3 different platforms that educators will access as part of the JA Finance Park program, 2 of which the students will access. The first, the JA User Management System, is where teachers enroll students in their class. JA Connect is the learning platform where educators and students can access the content. Schools participating in the JA Finance Park virtual simulation, rather than the on-site simulation, will use a third platform. More details on this platform are discussed in the virtual simulation training that should be watched after the curriculum portion of the training. To access the educator portal of the JA Finance Park self-guided program, visit learn.ja.org. If you're new to JA, you may have also received an email from JASA prompting you to create a username and login. Either way, whether you're new or returning, visit this site and select the button on the far right side for educators, students, and volunteers. Enter your email address as your username and the password. If you aren't sure of your password, you can simply use the Forgot Password link to reset the password going forward. Be sure to make note of this, as Junior Achievement's JASA system uses the same email and password integrated across a variety of platforms that educators may encounter. Once logged into JA Connect, look at the lower left corner to find the Capstone dropdown. Under the Capstone title, you should see a course for each of your sections of classes. It will have your last name, JA Finance Park Self-Guided, the semester and calendar year, along with a section number. For instance, if you have 3 class periods participating, you might see first, second, or third at the end of the course name. Click on each of the links to access the self-guided curriculum. Once logged in, you'll see each of the 6 units along the left side of the page. Each unit is broken down into modules. We'll break those down more in just a minute. You'll notice income, saving, investing, and risk management, debit and credit, budget plus, simulation, and a debrief component. Each unit has several modules. Within the module, you'll find on-screen presentations that give the students content for that particular unit. There are also over a dozen volunteer videos embedded into the program for students to view and hear from volunteers about the specific topics for that unit. There are several volunteer videos in the portal that can be toggled to a Spanish version, and a full set of Spanish-speaking videos is available on the JA of Middle Tennessee YouTube channel and aligns with the English versions that are embedded in the portal. Many of the modules contain student activities, much like the student workbooks in the traditional delivery of the curriculum. Here, students can complete fillable PDFs, save them, and submit them to their teachers through their learning management systems, like Schoology or Google Classroom. Now that you're familiar with the components of the self-guided program, let's take a look around the portal itself and show you a few of its features, starting from the Capstone dropdown. For the JA Finance Park Self-Guided, you'll notice I have one here. Again, you should see a different listing for each of your sections of students. It will look the same except for the very last number that will denote the class period. Again, by number or letter, however you have it set up at your school. We'll set it up to mirror that. From here, you'll click on that to load the JA Finance Park Self-Guided program. Teachers will see the same thing that the students do. Here you can see the welcome, overview and resources, student quick start guide, and each of the 6 units. Anytime there is a PDF or a short video to view, you'll see the play button here. And by clicking it, it will open the PDF in a new tab for you to view. When students press play, the on-screen presentation will play directly within their portal. Many of these will require audio, so if your class is meeting in person, I'd recommend the use of headphones. If students are meeting at home, it's certainly up to them and learning remotely. Here's a look at how the volunteer videos appear in the portal. Students will simply click and it will play within their web browser. Student activities are also embedded. Again, when you open these up, you'll see the actual worksheets that have been made into fillable PDFs where students can complete their items, save the PDFs, and submit them to their teachers as the teachers request in their learning management system, like Schoology or Google Classroom. Before you start to enroll your students in the class, be sure to review the teacher checklist to help you with steps that you'll need along the way. Review the Program Overview for Educators Guide within the JA Connect Learning Platform, as well as the student enrollment steps, which will be outlined in the following portion of the training. To enroll students in the course so they can access the student side of the self-guided curriculum, visit access.ja.org. Here, you'll use the same username and login that you previously used to access learn.ja.org or the JA Connect Learning Platform. From here, you'll edit your enrollment, go to Enroll Student, and the easiest way to do this for a large group is to import. You'll use the template here. The spreadsheet will have columns for student first name, student last name, and their email address. If you know the student's email address or they have a school issued one, that would be ideal. But if they don't have one, first name and last name alone are sufficient. If for any reason your school does not have approval to use student names, you can also use generic names like student A, student B, etc., in order to still give the students a generic login. You will choose your file and click Upload. You can see that it's added my sample students. I also had not included an email address in my spreadsheet, and so this automatically created jastudent.a certain number@juniораchievement.org. This is only for username purposes. It does not actually create an email account anywhere and is essentially just their username to log in. After you've had a chance to look at your student list, if you have missed anyone or at any point need to go back and add a student, you can do so individually here, and you'll finish your enrollment. When you close out, you'll be able to see the number of students enrolled in your class. Here's my self-guided class with 3 students. If I want to double check who is enrolled, I can also go back and visit the list here. The 2 that I had just added and the self-guided test student I had already added on a previous occasion. After you've enrolled your students, give at least an hour in order for the student account names to carry over into the blended portal. And after enrolling your students, you'll have little reason to spend time in the UMS, but will spend most of your time in the JA Connect Learning Platform at learn.ja.org. Before the students actually log in and begin their self-guided course, have them complete the pre-survey in SurveyMonkey. The link for the pre-survey can be found on the teacher checklist provided by the JA office. Similarly, a post-survey will be taken after the students complete their simulation and the debrief lesson. It's also recommended that teachers have an orientation session before the students begin their self-guided curriculum to ensure all the students have been able to log into their accounts, are familiar with the navigation, and understand how to save and submit PDFs as part of their assignments for class. Once your students have begun going through the modules in the self-guided portal, you'll want to return to learn.ja.org to access the Facilitator dashboard and track their progress. In the top right, select My Facilitation Dashboard to check on your students' progress in the class. Here you can see the number of students enrolled, which should directly match those that you enrolled in the UMS. The percentage completion is still being updated, but the reports section above can give you some helpful insight into where the students have most recently completed activities. And in the People section of the Facilitator dashboard, you can see each student's individual progress. The percentage marks, again, are still being worked on, but the time spent is accurate, as well as the last activity of engagement. You can also see when students were last connected, 4 days ago, which is a helpful tool as teachers work to engage their students in this asynchronous experience. Please keep in mind that this facilitation dashboard is a relatively new item to pair with the asynchronous curriculum, and continued enhancements and adjustments will be made from this point going forward. After completing the first 4 modules of the self-guided curriculum, students will engage in the JA Finance Park simulation. Whether on-site at Junior Achievement of Middle Tennessee's JA Finance Park, sponsored by the Truist Foundation, or in the JA Finance Park virtual simulation. Additional details about each format of the simulation are available in a separate training video and should be followed up with after completion of this training session. After completing the simulation, the students will debrief about their experience. The debriefing lesson provides an opportunity to reflect on the simulation and think about planning that students can do now to help assure their future goals become reality. Individual student reports will be available following the simulation. Teachers might find them to be a helpful tool and often use them for an assessment grade. The lesson itself focuses on class discussion of their experience and includes a brief journaling activity. If you have any questions from the training, please submit them in the chat box before we move on to the simulation portion of the training. If you have any questions about the JA Finance Park program, curriculum, simulation, or other logistical details, please don't hesitate to reach out to the JA of Middle Tennessee staff for assistance.